Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I worked on a project in which we came up with a phrase that is sort of apropos of what you're saying. It's one tribe, one vibe. We're all one humanity. And there are those of us who care about being bridges, care about bridging those worlds. A lot of people ask me, I did 9 years on Fox News Health around the world. And people were like, why the hell would you be on Fox News? And I say, well, because I get to address millions of people who would never hear this message otherwise all over the planet. And I'm into the big tent, what you're calling the Maloka. I want the big tent. Everybody's invited. And oddly enough, I'd get comments from people from all over saying, thank you so much. I've never even heard of this. I'm going to look into this more, something like that. I mean, I didn't get negative comments about sharing psychedelics on Fox, for example. Never happened. Maybe to some people's surprise. So, yeah, I believe very strongly in bridging worlds, in creating greater understanding, in, embracing humanity. I mean, whatever, whether people are wearing shoes or they're barefoot or they're black or they're yellow or they're white or they're whatever, they've got some sort of particular religious background, whatever it is, we're all human beings here. And we are all on this planet. And we either contribute to a planet that thrives and prospers, or we contribute to a planet that degrades and, engenders more suffering. And I'm much more interested in the former than the latter. And I think that a great many people these days see that, divisive models fail. Not that they're going to stop anytime soon, but they really do fail. And they cause pain and suffering, and that the more inclusive we can be, and the more humane we can be, and the more loving we can be, and the more compassionate we can be, the more understanding we can be, the better world we live in. I mean, I have always gone, well, there are two things about it. One, I've always gone to a place, whether it's China or Siberia or Vanuatu or someplace, I've always gone with a particular plant in mind and in focus. And I'm usually serving the interests of some commercial entity that wants me to explore this plant and see if there's an opportunity to set up equitable trade. But invariably, I get shown other stuff. I mean, I didn't go to Peru, for example, to take a deep dive into coca leaf, but you go up into the Andes to investigate maca. And at every turn, there's coca. Okay, so what's that about? And then you learn about that and its ceremonial uses and its daily uses and, its fatigue allaying effects and how everybody, every hotel, any place, anywhere, and any restaurant, any place, anywhere has as much free coca tea as you can drink. So it helps you with altitude sickness. I didn't go for the coca, but I wound up becoming knowledgeable about coca as a result of that exposure. When I went to Siberia, first to investigate Rhodiola rosea, a very profoundly beneficial plant that's good for energy and vitality and reducing stress and enhancing mental clarity, I was introduced to a bunch of other plants by the same people, and it radically expanded my knowledge. So I always go with a plant in mind and always wind up being introduced to other things. And the second thing is I never do this work by myself. I always have a group of people with me, usually a driver or a boat captain, somebody in trade, maybe somebody who's a local native or more than one, somebody who's a local native if it's a native environment, maybe another botanist, sometimes a government agent, it's always a constellation of people. It's not me showing up like with a red cape on and going, I'm here. It's more a whole group of us working together to see if we can create something meaningful that will benefit people in a particular place and be good trade and be something that will help them to support their families better and eat better and live better lives, and also benefit the market, which is constantly hungry for good, beneficial, health-enhancing things. native people, I once had this great experience. We're up the Rio Negro in Brazil, where we met this guy. I think his name was Hilbert, and he was a shopkeeper. And we told him we were interested in plants, and he was in this little village off the river. And he said, I'll take you around, and he took us around the forest, and he showed us about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 dozen different plants. And he would stop constantly and say, look, I'm not an expert, okay? I'm just a guy, but we grew up with this stuff. If you want a real expert, you should come back and talk with so-and-so. But the fact of the matter is he had a vast knowledge of medicinal plants, really vast. It was very impressive and kind of funny too, because he kept insisting that he didn't really know that much. Indigenous people typically know a lot about plants because they rely on the plants as foods, as medicines, as fibers to build their homes, for ceremonies, you name it. So they have to know them. I have watched native guys make a backpack out of plants in 2 minutes, repeatedly in the Amazon. They go, oh, wait a second, I need to be able to carry stuff. And they'll go to certain plants and bam, bam, bam. And you watch them make a backpack with straps in the whole bit so they can toss something, pick up something, throw it into the pack behind them. A good, sturdy, solid, this isn't going to fall apart backpack. And you go, wow. Holy smoke, that's amazing. Or watch women weaving, roof materials for, palm roofs. They know a lot. Is there more to discover? Certainly. But they know more than anybody. The native people know more than anybody. So rather than, going to a piece of forest like Merck did in the 90s, and testing every plant there and running it through high throughput machinery to see if they could find medicinal compounds. The smart money is go speak with shamans and healers. What do you use for a bad stomach? Oh, we use Carapana Uba. Let me show you Carapana Uba. Let me show you, we got something for pain in the joints. Yeah, let me show you that. They know a lot. But yes, of course, there's more to know. Still more to know.